Hello and welcome to episode 75 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And Jeffrey, we still have this awesome new recording equipment. This is not our first thing on it, but it's our first Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast.
Indeed.
With our new recording equipment. So if you don't know, we got new recording equipment. So hopefully this podcast is going to start sounding really nice as we go forward, and I'm still just so excited about it. I'm still going to be gushing.
Got these fancy mics. We got another one for another person to come in. We got a mixer.
Right. Yeah, mixer's off camera right here, looking very, very, very professional. I feel like this is way out of our pay grade, like way out of.
Yep. But if we get two more people on here, Darby, we got to go back to that Blue Yeti.
Yep. Like I said in the other thing, it'll be nostalgia at that point.
Yeah.
And that other thing is a Red Dead Redemption 2 Spoilercast that me and Jeff just recorded a few days ago. It's still a few days ago, whenever it was. And that's up on the Nerds at Large Spoilercast podcast feed and on our YouTube channel. We start out spoiler free before, and we make it very clear when we get into spoilers. And me and Jeff, we both beat the epilogue, the main story and epilogue of Red Dead, and we talk about it for over an hour, right?
Yeah, it goes over an hour. About 75 minutes.
There's a lot to talk about, and I still feel like there's things that we didn't get to.
Yep, we talked about some other stuff right after we got done.
Yeah, that game, it's special. It's something else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Though it is an interesting thing. I keep on hearing. I guess mainly I'm more so kind of funny thing talking about the honeymoon phase is over. Yeah. So people are like, "Oh, we can say how bad it is now." That thing.
The more I think about, I guess there's just very different opinions on this. The more I think about Red Dead Redemption, the more I love it. I keep finding like little things that just piece together and they're so cool to me.
Yeah, I feel like even among people who like it, I feel like I'm kind of on the outside. Because I've seen some people like a Resetter say, "Oh, we're at the point where even people like it say the gameplay was a complete slog. It wasn't enjoyable to play. Only the story was good." I'm like, I enjoyed playing it.
That's what I don't know. It's such an interesting game to talk about with that because there's certain things where it's like, yeah, I kind of see where some people are coming from, but then it's also like, it was never a problem for me the minute playing it, and just the sum of all the parts of Red Dead is just so enormously great. And there's just certain things that I never experienced the controls are so impossible to do. I'm like shooting people when I'm not meaning to. I'm doing this. Like every time I try to do something, it does the wrong thing. It's like, it all, like, I'm just like, hold left trigger, greet, hold left trigger, bye. It was just like, it all kind of made sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like, and this is going to sound worse than what I mean, but I feel like some people had a hard time getting used to new control schemes.
Well, and I think I think part of it was like snap judgments. I think when you maybe first jump into Red Dead, it was like you play it for a little bit and it was a little hard to get used to, and that's your immediate judgment. And you're like, you go on Twitter and say something about it. I do feel like it's kind of a game that you do need to like get in the swing of it. But then that being said, I didn't really even have that many problems at the beginning. So I don't know. Maybe I was just way more patient with it than some people, and that's fine. I mean, that's perfectly fine. But
yeah. Well, Dari, we're going to continue talking about Red Dead, but instead of the story mode, we're going to talk about Red Dead Online.
We are going to talk about Red Dead Online. The beta is out right now. Me and Jeff played on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Because we didn't buy the Ultimate Edition or anything, but we
are plebs, but we got day one.
But we did play day one, so we got to play a little bit. And I think we played about 3 hours, 4 hours.
I think it was closer to 5 hours.
Was it closer to 5? Yeah, because we did play in 2 different settings. Yeah. And I think I looked at your party thing or whatever, and it was 3 hours, and that was just for our second sitting. So, and honestly, that was a fast 5 hours because I was having a lot of fun.
Indeed, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Obviously, because this is a beta, it's kind of bare bones right now, and I mean that necessarily in bad ways, like. Not everything's in there.
Right. And I think GTA 5 Online was similar in a lot of ways. And just a lot of these are. It's beta and it's like, I mean, this is basically a free online mode that we're getting. And because of GTA in the past, they're going to keep adding on to it a lot.
Yep. And honestly, it ran really well. We didn't really have any problems as far as connection and stuff goes. There were a few like little bug things in there that we had like at the very end of our play session.
Yeah, Jeff tried to put down a camp and then just nothing happened. So we're like, that was weird.
Also your horse just disappeared forever.
Yeah.
And there was one other weird thing with me that I can't remember what it was.
Well, we don't know if my horse disappeared forever. We're going to log back on and I hope he's there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying.
It disappeared. Sure. It did not come back by the time we left.
Right.
Yeah, done.
But I mean, that was just a few there was a few minor things, but for the most part, it really did feel like we were riding around the Red Dead map with the same Red Dead controls, and I was just with Jeff, and it was super fun to be like, Jeff puts a waypoint, and like just the simple act of like riding from town to town was just really cool because it looked badass to see like both of our like people riding on their horses. It was really cool, and right now it's mostly just there is a main quest line that we only did like a few missions with.
I think I heard it's actually really short right now.
Yeah,
We probably could finish it like a one more sitting potentially.
Probably
We just straight lined it.
And then there's also stranger missions pretty much everywhere. Me and Jeff did mostly just stuff out in the west where like the starting area basically, but you can the entire map there's stranger missions all the way around, and there's like races which we didn't do. There's some
the multiplayer modes which we did not do at all.
And some
we didn't do that
thing.
Battle Royale mode. We didn't try that out,
but we are about to stream it like tonight, so that archive should be up there. So whatever we do tonight, maybe you can see, or this weekend, whatever we do.
Yeah, and we won't spoil it, but there are a couple cool character cameos. For the strangers.
We were pleasantly surprised. We're like, oh, hey,
yeah, and we only did a few of them, so that stuff was cool. Also, I just want to shout out like how easy it was for us to get into each other's game and group up.
Yeah,
it was surprisingly easy.
Starting a possum,
starting a possum.
Yeah, no, it was just. Especially like I hate to say it, but just coming off of Monster Hunter World, like this was just so much easier. It was just like, oh, boom, posse,
I wasn't even
invite.
Thinking
boom.
about that, I mean, it was very easy. I was just able to send you an invite very easily. You come to my world and quickly send you to invite you to the posse. And this was like pay $200 to do like a permanent posse.
Yeah,
we're not really sure how that works. We'll look into that at some point.
Yeah, if all that is just that you log on, it just makes the system easier, then that's a little weird that that's on a pay scale, but it might mean something else too. Because like also when I was killed by another player at some point, it said you were killed by so and so who is a part of whatever posse. So that might be part of
No. Well, we were called Rogue Man 66. My screen name's posse. That if we killed them, that's what it would have said.
Okay.
So their thing was probably the same error because it's so early, and I don't know if it considers a bad thing. We'll have to see, but the grind for money is painfully slow. You get so much less money.
I would say if there's anywhere where there's like cause for maybe a little concern with Red Dead Online, it is the progression and the like money, like the cost of items there, because we even in our 5 hours of playthrough, it's like we never got anywhere close to being able to purchase like substantial new things. Like I mean, like there were some guns that we could get, but there was a lot of things that were priced like hundreds of dollars.
I mean,
way more.
Were there weapons we could get?
I thought there was in the store. There were other weapons. Like they were very expensive.
Yeah, I'll say we could get weapons potentially. I mean, we're leveled up, but we definitely had nowhere near enough to buy them. Like the shotgun that we unlocked for purchase level 5 was $450 about, and we both only made about like $50-$60.
Yeah, from 5 hours of playing, and that was
after spending some. I mean, that's how much we ended with, but we had to spend money on items and stuff because also something else. I don't mean, I'm not saying it's a negative, but part of it I could potentially say is a negative.
All this is like potential. Any of these things are like could potentially be bad going forward because
also they could change in the blink of an eye, right? Because this is a beta, but. I feel like you take a lot more damage. You're a lot easier to die. Also, the enemies are a lot more bullet spongy. Like, I felt like we were doing some headshots and they were not going down. Like, we had to use like on some of them 4 times the amount of ammo you feel like.
Yeah, I would shoot someone at almost like point blank range, like right in the chest or face, and then he just like takes it and keeps shooting. Whereas like I know in the main game these guys would have been going
and
down.
It's not like the thing is on RPG or something where you level up necessarily. I mean, yes, you can upgrade your gun some, but that stuff minimal. So
no, and like I looked,
not like that would have made the difference.
I looked at the stats of our weapons, and they were not that different than what I was using for the majority of the game. And I mean, part of that is definitely probably because they know they're expecting you to be playing with a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause you have more than one person shooting at all these. I mean, that's part of it.
It might be doing a Monster Hunter type thing where, I mean, I don't know how it's going to be when you're alone, but I know in Monster Hunter, once you get one more person there, it's acting like it's 4 people, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I might be wrong in this, but I think I heard at some point where I might have changed this as well, where once you have one extra person, it's the same no matter if you have 2 or 4 people.
Right.
It could be the same here.
Yeah, that's definitely at least how it was with Monster Hunter. And yeah, it definitely could be, especially for the missions that, I mean, there were certain missions, like, I guess it was just like the big missions where it said, like, you can have 2 to 4. It tells you that.
Yeah, and the stranger missions you can
Other
just
ones,
go in.
Yeah. I mean, either way, and that's not, like, this is not necessarily a bad thing
We're
that
just saying how it is.
that it's a little harder. Like, I mean, because Red Dead is very easy. The Red Dead in the main game, like, I very rarely died from, like, losing a shootout or something like that, unless I was just completely overwhelmed. But this, like, we definitely struggled a little bit, but it was kind of fun to have to, like, okay, you go over there, I'm going to flank them from over here, and we actually had to think about things because we would die if we didn't.
Yeah.
So, it made it interesting. So, just tentatively really enjoying Red Dead Online so far. Like, I think this is going to grow so much. They're going to put in, I'm sure they're going to put in the big, like, equivalent of heists from GTA in here and other things like that. And especially, I do think right now, like, you need to, at least just from the little bit we've played, I think you need to have someone else for the, like, another friend to play with for the full experience. Because that was the biggest part of it, was just being able to play with you and run around there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really any, at least right now, any, like, big addition between the story mode and the online mode if you're playing alone. Like, there's no really benefit to do it.
Right.
Except, I guess, without ruining the honor of Arthur.
Yeah. And just the story right now is pretty obviously bare bones. I mean,
and you have a silent protagonist.
Yes.
Like, you don't even get to pick a voice option.
Yeah, it's super weird to see, like, the Red Dead world and your person's just, like, nodding along to things.
Oh, yeah, something I don't like. I wish they'd done this, like, about every single mission. The people we're talking to came like, oh, you're a quiet one, huh?
Yeah.
They say that every time, like, oh.
They draw attention to the silent protagonist thing too much.
That's fine once, maybe twice, but when it happens to about every single person you talk to, it's like, okay, we get it. We're a silent protagonist.
Yeah, we're just the dumb, like, mindless killing machines who don't say anything.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Red Dead Online, good so far. Excited to play more.
Yep.
They're just going to keep us going back to Red Dead constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jeff, another game that I beat since the last time we had a full podcast is Astrobot Rescue Mission for the PlayStation VR. I've talked about it several times as I was just like halfway through or something going through, but beat the whole thing now, and I can stand by like everything I've said before and everything Jeff said before me. This is like a standout VR game, and like even past VR, this is just like a really good platformer, just independent of everything. It was like, this is a very, very well made experience that I think stands along with the Super Mario Galaxies of the world, the like Odysseys, and just you know that realm of thing. I don't think it's as good as either of those two games that I just said, but it's in that same conversation.
Yep.
And I think this game really is going to be something special for PSVR and just VR in general, because it's accessible, or more accessible than a lot of other things, from the price point of PSVR, and just from the like, everyone has played kind of a happy 3D platformer thing like this. Like, I feel like I could hand Astrobot to someone who doesn't really play video games that much, and they're going to understand what's going on and be able to get into it. You know, everything makes sense, but it also changes enough. Like, every single world you go to looks different. The mechanics build on top of each other, but it's not overly complex. You know, and it makes me really want to try like Moss. Especially,
you need to play Moss. You can probably do that in 1 or 2 settings.
Yeah, probably. And that's the other thing. I like that this was like a full 6 to 7 hour experience, something like that.
Yeah, and there's more if you want to do the challenge thing / go back for the other robots you missed. So
right.
There is replayability in this game.
Yeah, I haven't gone back or anything. I just did the one playthrough. But yeah, I'm happy that I don't think this is being overhyped. I think part of why it's being like shouted so much is just that it stands out in the PSVR.
Yep, and because it's on VR and it uses it well, it's a 3D platformer. Yeah, it just stands out as far as the VR game, and just in general as far as other games. So hopefully it wins that game award.
But as we've said multiple times, that category, that VR category, is stacked in there. Because we're also going to talk about another one in a minute.
We're talking about 2 more of them.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. 2 more of them. I'm trying to think if I have anything more to say about Astrobot. Just, like, I guess I will say, like, I don't think it's, like, something that you need to go out and buy a PSVR right now just for this, but it is one of those, whenever people do end up getting VRs at some point, this is a must-buy game for VR in addition to everything else. And I think we're going to look back on this as kind of a milestone.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be a game where once, VR becomes more of a thing, we get more full games, people will cite Astrobot as an inspiration or whatever.
Right. And I think I still stand by a few weeks ago. I said that I hope that we aren't 5 or 6 years from now touting Astrobot as like the best VR game, because I hope that we've built off of Astrobot and kind of like gone forward, because this showed like what you can do. They took like a very familiar genre and very familiar type of game with a 3D Mario style platformer and definitely made it look and feel like those games so that you're comfortable and familiar. And then they're like, okay, how can we enhance this with VR?
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see other ones. I mean, we've seen this before with like Resident Evil. It's like, we're going to take a horror game, a slow horror game, and put it in VR. I'm just excited to see what other people can do.
Well, assuming PlayStation continues PlayStation VR, which at this point I have no reason to doubt
I feel like it's if anything, it's picking up steam now. Like it's.
I want to see those sales numbers from Black Friday.
I really.
I
hope
felt like there are people that are picking it. A lot of people picking it up.
It's what I hear just from people talking. I hope that's translated into an actual.
Yeah, but I imagine Astrobot 2 will be one of the first things once PSVR 2 or whatever the next thing is, or however they move on. PS5, whatever they're going to do.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's hard to completely suggest someone to go buy a VR right now, because I feel like we can't be that far away from the next iteration of a lot of these things.
I can agree with that, assuming your only option are full price, but that PlayStation VR bundle is $200 with Moss and Astrobot. I'm like, that's a very good deal. May have to go get the Move controllers for other games, but that's a very good starting place.
It's very good. Yeah, like this Black Friday, this holiday season, and with this lineup of games, is the first time that I can like say, yeah, maybe. Like look at your own, like think about how much you want to use it and everything, and just like how much you want to like be in the system, but. That is like worth it. I mean, as long as I wouldn't advise it to like literally everyone, but if you are a gamer who likes to play a lot of these things, there's some special experiences that you won't get. Speaking of special experiences, let's talk about another one, Jeff.
Beat Saber, Darby. It is out on PlayStation VR. We have played it. I played it a good bit more since I left here last.
Yes.
Never replayed it. It's great.
I only played for I guess about an hour or something, like more or less. But you've played a lot more than me, so like, how about you kick it off?
I mean, I guess for people who don't know, the quick thing is it's a rhythm game where you have lightsabers and you cut cubes in directions.
That's all you need. It's a Fruit Ninja lightsabers with music,
with great music, great soundtrack.
Yeah,
which is apparently on Spotify.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, these are like some like techno like. I don't know, like club bangers of music. It's hard-hitting bass, like, brr.
Of course.
It's pretty great. Yeah. I mean, just playing it, I'm not even the biggest rhythm game guy, and I don't think you are either, but this one's just a lot of fun. Because it's just, I mean, something about the VR in this is very simple, but the flashing lights and everything, and you're just like slicing to the left, slicing right, and doing all this, and it makes you just feel badass doing it. It's just really cool.
You look like an idiot outside of it.
Absolutely.
Which we will do a Let's Play for. Unfortunately, we definitely cannot do it tonight. Darky's on the way here. I realized I forgot my Move controllers.
No, it's okay. We have two.
I can maybe bring them tomorrow if we wanted to do
We have enough other stuff to do. Yeah, bring them tomorrow because Jenny's coming over. So
then I would definitely.
She would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you have any other Beat Saber? How much, like... So how about the other modes? Are there any other modes, or have you mostly just...
I went through the story mode some. Now, I didn't get too far into it yet. I haven't played too much of it, but it's very interesting. It can kind of maybe throw you off your groove a little bit because it has, and I don't mean this definitely don't mean this is bad, but each story mission or each mission has a little, like, what's the right word? Well, things you got to get done in the level to pass instead of just finishing the level. Like, get this score, or you can only miss these many, like cubes or something, or it's sped up, and stuff like that. And man, you really got to pay attention to it. So maybe more conscious of how to get a higher score,
right,
and all that kind of stuff. There, I think it's making me better. I went through and did some of the normal level stuff in the free play thing.
Yeah.
and I started getting all the high scores.
Nice.
Like
Maybe it's time to bump up the hard.
I'll wait so I can get them like all perfectly and all kind of stuff. Like a couple A ranks, mostly A ranks, a couple S ranks.
Well,
that kind of thing. When most of the ones you guys did were like C's, maybe a B from like Olivia or something.
yeah, Olivia's pretty good at that.
Yeah, so
I had that one song. I was so close to finishing on hard, and I fell apart for it at the very end. It made me mad. I've also heard a lot of people say that they're like legitimately using this for some exercise.
I did some of that too. It can quite the workout, especially when you do the story mode, all the crazy stuff.
That's cool. It's like this is going back to like the Wii era days, but it kind of seems like this is the actually like good.
Yeah, that's the good version of it.
I mean, maybe we'll look back in this and be like, oh, that was so cute that we thought this was something special. But like, I don't know. It feels.
No, I feel like it's gonna be one of the. I think Beat Saber is gonna be one of those things, unless just general tracking in VR stuff gets so much better.
Yeah.
Other than that, but I don't.
I'm sure it will. But
yeah. But I don't think we'll ever look at Beat Saber as like, yeah, what were we like? This wasn't really that good. I think we'll be like, no, this was just a jumping off point for something.
We'll just look back and be like, God, we had so many cords we had to plug in to do this.
Oh no, yeah, most definitely. No, the only negative for Beat Saber I would say is lack of songs.
Yeah.
Which is definitely because I think they added like about 5-ish new ones for the PS4 that are PS4 exclusive.
But I thought I heard someone say there are songs that are on the other versions that aren't on PlayStation 2. I thought I saw that, but I might be wrong.
Honestly, I think I looked and there were only stuff that were on PSVR that weren't on the other one.
Okay.
They added stuff, and it turns out I think a lot of them were our favorites. Like I think that Country one or whatever was.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one's a PSVR.
The
one.
pirate one is also.
I might be thinking of the pirate one. Yeah, the pirate one's definitely it. So, Beat Saber's great, and I guess while we're just talking about VR, before I go to the next VR game, I know I talked about doing this. I'm definitely gonna do it soon. I just want to play these games a little more. I'm definitely gonna do like a top like essential VR games.
Yeah.
Thing.
We definitely
or
to the point
more focused on PSVR, obviously, but
yeah, that would be awesome.
We actually have. I can actually do 10 and be like.
I feel confident.
Yeah, I feel confident saying get these if you have VR.
Right. It's exciting.
Yep. Another one that will probably be on that list: Tetris Effect.
Yes.
I haven't played that one as much. Played it a little more since I was here, and really fun game, Darby.
Yeah.
Very trippy. Very trippy.
It looked very trippy for me just watching you for a little bit.
Sound effects are dope, and I enjoy Tetris. One of those things. I haven't put as much time into a lot of people that play Tetris,
right?
I think I'm pretty good considering how little I played in my life.
You're much better than me. I'm horrible at Tetris. I'm absolutely terrible.
Now I want to play more and get better. And this will be a good motivation to do it because it's really cool in VR.
So I'll put on the like cynical YouTube comments hat. It would be like, or I'll just phrase it in a more polite way. But what makes this more than just Tetris, Jeff? For anyone who's just looking at this and it's like, this is nice, but that's $40 and it looks like it's just Tetris. Like, so what is the selling point for that person?
Unfortunately, I feel like if you're not into Tetris in general, this probably won't be a good selling point.
Well, right, but even someone who likes Tetris, if you came up and said pay $40 for Tetris. Yeah. Even someone who likes Tetris would be like, "You're out of your mind." So, like, what is the big what makes Tetris Effect?
I haven't done all it has to offer, but just from a general standpoint, it's a visual and musical treat. It's kind of hard. It's one of those things that's kind of hard to explain if you haven't played it. It just kind of had stuff onto it that makes it kind of more of an experience than just normal Tetris,
right?
Especially in VR. I heard people say, it's kind of that way. Without VR, but VR just takes it up to another level. Like Gary Whitta, who does some kind of funny, says he loves Tetris Effect, the regular one, but he hasn't tried it in VR, which will probably blow his mind.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a crazy jump. I mean, even just seeing, I was just being cynical just for the conversation. I mean, seeing you go through, like, you're in one area and you're doing Tetris, that's kind of a slower pace, and there's a bunch of like cool chill things around you and it's doing nice or whatever, and then you finish that one and it just seamlessly like you go through this warp hole and suddenly everything's on fire and it's going really fast
and you have little fire people worshiping Satan. It seems like
Chibi Robo on fire. And that stuff seems cool. That And from what I've heard, the actual Tetris that you're doing can kind of like go into the beat of the music, and it can get like hectic and frantic, and then go.
No. Something you quickly notice. I don't know if you noticed it. The better you're doing, the faster the music goes, and the more music that's added to it.
Right.
So when stuff were slow is when I wasn't doing I was kind of setting things up and not doing as well. But once things started moving is when the music started picking up in the pace and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. It seems like a very cool experience. I mean, I still feel. I mean, this is me not having played it at all, and me just not liking Tetris. That's why, I don't really have an interest in this game purely because of that. But I respect it. I still think $40 seems a bit much to me. And if I had to recommend to people, I would probably recommend them to wait until it's on sale. Yeah. But at the point when VR games are always going to be a little more expensive because they're harder to make. So, even though this isn't only VR, but.
Nope.
Whatever. All right. Was that all your Tetris Effect talk, Jeffrey?
Yep, for now.
Alrighty. Yeah, we probably need to just move on.
Okay.
I am about to finish Divinity Original Sin 2. It's super good still. Go play that game. It was on sale for Black Friday. If it's on sale again anytime this Christmas holiday, go buy that game. You'll get 80 hours at least. I'm at 80 hours now, and I'm still playing. So
there's probably some Steam sale that's coming up.
Yeah, the winter Steam sale. I'm sure it's on there. Everyone,
I haven't looked at that at all.
Check that out. Jeff, check that out. You would love this game.
I got too many long games.
I know. All right, Jeff. Let's get into the news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
On that fancy mic.
Fancy.
It's the most clear jingle, jingle, jangle we've had.
Okay, well, we don't have a crazy amount of news, honestly. So I guess one of the biggest news things we're just making our main topic. We'll get to that. But, Darby, next week, at least as of this recording, it'll be the week of when people are hearing this. So
sure.
It's a big week, Darby. Super Smash Bros. Is coming out.
I can't all this thing.
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros. On Friday.
Yeah, big thing. The Game Awards are next Thursday.
The Game Awards on Thursday. And what are we doing for the Game Awards, Jeffrey?
We are live reacting to it on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah. Probably YouTube.
Yeah. Also, I'm happy to say that Jeff and Greg Miller from Kind of Funny for their thing are saying, hey, you can kind of stream along with it or whatever and do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Which we do anyway, but I appreciate the boost.
Yeah. It's like, it's not come courtesy or whatever.
That would be 8:30, I believe, Eastern. Is what time the pre-show probably starts.
Yes, that's what I believe.
So we'll be live a little bit before then at least.
Yes. That is the plan. But
yep.
let's talk about the Game Awards. Let's do some Game Award updates. Just updates and hype checks of what's going on with the Game Awards.
Yeah,
and this is about 5 or 5:30.
About 6.
Yeah, about 6 o'clock on Fridays, just in case Keeley adds anything by the time you hear this. This is what we have. This is what they have as far as presenters goes. This is kind of to show how he's kind of going.
Yeah.
Ninja, Joseph Fares.
Big deal.
Some points for our boys for our betting special. Well, it's all the boys.
All three. All three of us.
So that's kind of irrelevant. Jacksepticeye, which makes sense. Christopher Waltz, who's an actor. Do you know?
Oh, yeah. I completely missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Pepe the King Prawn. If you don't know, that's a Muppet.
So funny.
The Russo brothers.
We'll get to that.
The Duffer brothers. You know, these are the Stranger Thing guys.
Okay, yeah.
Which is cool. Aisha Tyler, of course. And Pokemon.
Yes.
So we can start with this and then we can talk about
So some big names, some more obvious ones. I hope Christopher Waltz doesn't come across as just we got some random actor who doesn't know anything about what he's talking about.
I feel like it might be a little more, like he at least might be a little in this considering the list of names, I guess.
He kind of stands out in that list. So
I feel like there's got to be some reason.
Right, yeah.
He's obviously going to be in Death Stranding.
I mean, Mads Mikkelsen is. I mean, there's easily
I meant that half seriously.
He easily could be.
Yeah. Though, of course, because the Russo brothers are there, the biggest name on there, I think we can safely say.
Are you talking about Joseph Fares is the biggest name?
You're right.
Or Pepe the
Russo brothers, they stand out the most. So people were asking like, since we haven't got the Avengers 4 trailer, are we getting Avengers 4? No.
But
we'll probably get it at some point before the Game Awards next week.
Yeah, the Game Awards is not. I mean, with all due
that would be huge.
Oh, it would. But with all due respect to the Game Awards,
no.
So.
I promise you, if that happened, Jeff would be promoting the shit out of that if he could.
Well, but you also want you kind of also, well, I don't know.
No, I mean, here's the thing.
But
Yes,
you
I
get
the
so many more
surprise.
people. You get so many more people to tune
Like,
into that if they knew.
If Disney said no about that, I guess then Jeff couldn't do anything because he's not going to say no to having the Avengers 4 trailer. But if he could, he'd be yelling that from the top of the mountain, saying, "We have the Avengers 4 trailer premiere. Come watch."
Right.
And people would.
Well, Jeff, do you think the correct assumption is to think that we're getting the Crystal Dynamics Avengers trailer here, or do you think it could just be, hey, it's the Russo brothers and they present something and leave?
It could go either way, or it could be, and we could still get the Avengers video game trailer, and it has nothing to do with the Russo brothers there, or it could they got them separately, and Jeff's like, hey, could you maybe also just kind of introduce this if you want to, or if Crystal Dynamics is okay with it, depending how they want to go with that.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. Like, that's obviously the instant reaction, but like...
No, this reaction was apparently Avengers 4 trailer.
Apparently Avengers 4 or whatever, but at least my instant reaction was
I'm with your reaction.
Yeah, maybe Crystal Dynamics, but even that, something about it, like, I just, I don't know. No. Because I could see it just being, they're there. I mean, like, there was they had a little bit of involvement just with video games with the whole Fortnite thing, how they said, they and their team were fans of Fortnite, and Fortnite was fans of them, so they were like, hey, let's do this thing. Not that that's, the only thing, but, I could see it just being they're there.
Oh, no. I think whether the Avengers trailer or, the Avengers video game trailer is there or not, there's nothing to do with the Russo brothers being there. It just would have been a coincidence more than anything.
But it also could have something to do with it, potentially. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think... I don't think one led to the other. I think it's more like... Jeff might be like, oh, we get both there, so why don't we just kind of...
Because I can also see a possibility where the Russo brothers, the trailer plays, and then the Russo brothers will walk out, and they're like, hey, how about that? Anyway,
Oh, yeah, something. Yep. Yeah, they could easily do that.
Something like that.
I feel like Avengers is something that could happen, so got anything else to say from these presenters other than Pepe the King Prawn's the best presenter?
Yeah, he is by far the best presenter.
I did like it. I saw some comments like, who's this Muppet ripoff?
Are you in agreement with me that it's gonna be kind of really cheesy if Joseph Fares has yet another huge outlandish thing? I'm sure they're gonna joke about it and be like, oh, be on your best behavior this time or something, and that's perfectly fine. But if they try to play up another big
I agree. I know that's something people are worried about.
I'm gonna be a little annoyed.
Yeah, that would be annoying, but I understand that maybe showing him hey, we're bringing him back.
I don't have any problem with it. Was a funny moment and everything, but I just don't want them to try to play it up too much. Yeah. So I just worry about that a little bit. But no, other than that, I mean, these are just cool things. The same thing with the Avengers thing. I don't think just because the Duffer Brothers are there doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna see
the brothers.
I mean, I was going to them. I was with them, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're getting a Stranger Things type thing either. They could just be there. I was leading to them. There is they did say the Stranger Things Telltale thing. Isn't that something like that still happening? Wasn't that
I think they're saying they're still doing a game, but since
it's just not Telltale. But
I imagine it's. That's too far away.
I would think so. I would think so too. I'm just trying to get to everything that people would look at this list and be like, "Ooh, this has to be happening," and I don't think it necessarily does.
And again, the only thing that has to connect to potential announcements is the Russo brothers, and that's more of, hey, they happen to be at the same time, or it connects to each other. Okay.
Anthem's just more obvious. I mean, it's obvious Anthem's gonna be. Or we haven't said that yet, have we?
Yeah.
Nope.
I was doing a quick thing. They announced Jeff announced the first performance, and he just said from Devil May Cry. It's a weird wording. I imagine it's gonna be a musical presentation from it. Probably Devil Trigger.
Yeah. Which would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Really cool.
That people were excited more than just regular rap.
Is that the only musical guest, or have they already
announced
said
right now? He seems to be steadily.
For some reason, I thought we already knew some a different one, but
no. And just some world premiere, just kind of information that's new. Jeff announced there are going to be at least 10 new game announcements.
Get hype.
Yep, or over 10, or how the wording was. So we have at least 10 we don't know about.
More than 10.
Yeah. We're also getting an Anthem trailer that is already confirmed. That is happening.
Yes.
And also, BioWare in a blog post talked about Dragon Age news next month. So people are instantly Dragon Age announcement?
I mean, I would be shocked at this point if it's not, because he said that Yeah, we'll have more information on Dragon Age coming next month. And they said in parentheses, I won't tell you when next month or something. It's like it's the Game Awards. Like I would be legitimately
that'd be a
shocked if
big
it
thing
was
for
not.
BioWare. I mean, just
And I think BioWare's already there with Anthem. If BioWare kind of needs a big PR win, and if you're coming out of the Game Awards saying Anthem looked awesome and look at this really sweet new Dragon Age, that's a good look.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, like, one thing that I've been saying with Fable, I was like, it's kind of like in this new age, not new, but like open world RPG type games are like thriving right now. There's like Red Dead, Witcher, Horizon, Metal Gear Solid 5, all the like just going back years. It's like it's the thing. And Fable, I keep saying like now's the time. Bring Fable back. It can do well. Dragon Age is kind of the same thing, even though it hasn't been gone for that long because of Inquisition, and I didn't like Inquisition, but I think a good Dragon Age game could be,
oh yeah, good Dragon Age game
could
would be huge.
perform very, very, very well.
That'd be really good. Final world premiere announcement that we have as of right now: a new sci-fi RPG from Obsidian in Private Division. So just so people know, this nothing to do with Microsoft. This is before that.
Right. Yeah, this
So
game was already being made.
So I'm meaning for bets. It doesn't count.
I know. I'm just excited to
Unless
see.
Microsoft has announced to have some involvement, then yeah.
Yeah, it's just exciting. Like, there's definitely a more of a spotlight on Obsidian right now anyway, even when it's not a Microsoft project.
Indeed. So this will be interesting. So honestly, right now, world premiere stuff, very interesting, and we got some juicy rumors. And deconfirmation. So we should probably get to that.
Okay.
Now let's do the rumors first, then we'll get the deconfirmation. I'll bring out my phone so I don't forget.
While I do that, I'm going to close that door to help with echo a little bit. You go ahead.
But a lot of people with insider knowledge relating to Nintendo have been strongly hinting at Metroid Prime 4, including mods from Resetera. People on Resetera obviously made a thread about it, and mods did not say, no, you guys are not looking too far into this. They just kind of joked around without saying anything about it. So, according to insiders, it looks like we're getting Metroid Prime 4.
I mean, it's time, right?
No. I'm not saying it's like a surprise thing. It's like, okay, it's happening.
And that's, I mean, like, even if you say that, like, whenever the reveal happened, even if they were like super, super early in development there,
It was a year and a half ago.
That was a year and a half ago. They're at least ready to reveal stuff about the game. Even if we don't get like a release date or like super meaty stuff, we're at the point where you can be like, hey, this is kind of what it looks like, the vibe, the story, whatever.
I am betting that we will, at the end of the trailer, just see a straight 2019. Because Nintendo doesn't like to give dates until they're ready, which I appreciate. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I imagine what will probably happen is we get this about the final quarter next year. They show us this now. We probably may not hear about it again until
sometime
E3.
around like now next year, maybe a little earlier. But
Yeah. We'll probably won't hear about it until E3, and people will freak out about it if we don't see it till then.
yeah, I mean it's been a long time. I mean,
No.
Metroid Prime is a little different, like than some of the other games that were like, when are we gonna hear about Animal Crossing, which we kind of finally did. But like Metroid Prime, they talked about it. That was one of their big things from E3 2 years ago. So I think it's time for an update.
Again, imagine what it's going to be then. They show some stuff here. Probably a blowout by E3. It comes out around this time next year. If not, May, September, maybe.
And I think this is going to be like the equivalent, but even bigger for Nintendo specifically from like Bayonetta last year.
Yeah.
Where, you have the big thing you're going for is Bayonetta 3 and also the Zelda DLC. What would be awesome is like, I don't think this is going to happen, but like Super Mario Odyssey DLC and Metroid Prime 4. You have a DLC announcement for an existing game and a new announcement.
It's too late for Odyssey DLC.
I
We're
agree.
probably getting Odyssey 2 if anything.
What I do think is possible, along with a Metroid Prime trailer and everything, is the Metroid Prime trilogy port.
I want it.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, especially, there's a lot of people. It's been a long time since Metroid Prime 3. A lot of people, like me and you, I think, haven't, like, I played a little bit of one of them. It was whichever one was like on the Wii too, but
that was 3.
Yeah, it was 3. I played some of 3, but I'm for the most part not all that familiar with the
I know I
Prime
played one of the
series.
GameCube ones a good bit.
I feel like you almost kind of have to port those over before 4. So
Okay.
I mean, I could see potentially kind of like the Bayonetta situation. You announce the trilogy port maybe for like February or March, and then Metroid Prime 4 later on during the year.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I took what you were going to say, Ryan. I agree with what you were just saying. I was saying as far as them announcing it, do the Metroid Prime 4 thing, and then announce the trilogy right after that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, whatever.
You don't lead with the trilogy because everyone knows Metroid Prime 4 is coming. That will just potentially piss people off for 2 seconds.
Right. Yeah, whatever order, but just I could see both of those announcements together.
And let's see.
And some people were talking about a shadow drop. No, there's not going to be any Nintendo shadow drop because Smash Bros. Is the next day.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
You
There's not going to be a
correct.
single Nintendo shadow drop, I can almost guarantee you.
I agree. Okay, but a deconfirmation and just a general thing. There was a rumor coming out that there was going to be a Superman Rocksteady game, and people obviously, that was going to be announced soon, so everyone thought Game Awards naturally, if you believe the rumor. I was kind of like, eh.
I've stopped believing any Rocksteady Superman rumors, and it looks like I'm correct for
yes.
Thank
One
you, so,
of the co-founder / creative director, Septon Hill, on Twitter, like an hour or so before we start recording this, said, "Looking forward to the Game Awards this year. We're so hard at work in our development bunker, so don't expect an announcement from Rocksteady Games. When it's ready to show, you'll be the first to know. Spoiler, it's not Superman."
Which I appreciate them just getting ahead of that. They'll make it better for whenever they do announce. It is
someone said, "Where's Superman? We were promised Superman." It's like, no, you weren't.
I kind of like, it's kind of an opportunity for Rocksteady, but I also kind of feel bad for them in the moment because I feel like it's been a good solid 2 years of when's Rocksteady gonna say something? What's Rocksteady doing? And it's every E3 and every major game event's gone on for so long, and that's one of the central what's it gonna be, and there's so much build up to whenever they say something that I kind of worry that if it's not something that people immediately are excited about, they're gonna get some backlash that probably won't mean anything. But we'll see. I feel like we've said this before, but I do agree with you. I think it kind of has to be E3. It's been a while. Arkham Knight was 2015. Yeah, 2015. Yeah, it was 2015. They've had long enough to be able to show something. Whatever it is, I imagine there might be a short window from announcement to release.
Well, since Sony's press conference and everything, it'll probably be at Microsoft's press conference if they don't announce it beforehand.
Right.
One of those things.
Just very interesting to see what it will be.
Indeed. Oh, yeah, but we'll add this and then we'll move on from the Game Awards just real quick. Just because Rocksteady's not showing anything doesn't mean we won't get anything from WB in general. There's rumors that WB Montreal is working on a DC game as well, so that could possibly soon. And the most likely scenario of getting a WB game is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so
I would agree.
So let's move on. Let's talk about kind of funny things. This one won't be as long. Just some little updates, things that are apparently happening during the showcase, which is at 1 p.m. on December 8th. 1 p.m.
Saturday.
Eastern time. Yeah.
My
birthday.
Just birthday. Yeah.
So we're also planning on recording and whatever, reacting to that. So we'll probably start that a couple minutes beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, just a couple things. Greg Miller has been talking about this on Twitter a lot and doing some fun little teasers, saying roughly 60 games will be shown, which is a lot.
That is a lot of games.
We will get something from the Yakuza team.
Yes.
So people have some wonderings what that will be. We can talk about that for a minute. Also, as well as something from NIS America will also be shown. Greg also said there will be PSVR announcements, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And even 2 games for the Vita.
The Vita lives, everyone. And of course, if it lives anywhere, it's going to be in Greg Miller's show.
Yeah. So the Yakuza team thing was very exciting and just kind of a surprise. It could be something small and meaningless.
It could be.
I think people found stuff, and it's probably going to be a Yakuza, one of the games, PC port.
Okay.
Which
my mind immediately went to what I always
Judge
forget.
Eyes?
Yeah, Judge Eyes.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have multiple things, so it can't.
You could. Yeah. I mean, the fact that this was FYI, we got this because Greg did a whole thing on Twitter. It was like, "Hey, Yakuza, do you want to show anything?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, I guess we will." Obviously, a stage
And I can't believe the amount of people didn't catch on that was planned.
Yeah, that's what someone asked someone wrote in on Kind of Funny Games Daily or something about it. Greg was like, "Yeah, of course it was staged." Yeah. It's like, "Oh God,
I'm not gonna just ask random."
Oh, shit.
especially not this close.
Yeah, no, someone was like, "Did they make the cut?" And it's like, well, I mean, okay, but
they're playing developers if they said, "Hey, we want to add this thing to your showcase," that okay? Greg would be like,
"Oh yeah,
fine."
you would, you absolutely would." I think the fact that he's kind of playing it up on Twitter means that at least a little bit like kind of relevant, like, I mean, not that the port wouldn't be relevant, but I don't want to hype it up too much because this show in general is going to be a smaller thing, which is great. It's fine for what it is, but that's cool to have that's a pretty big series to be at this thing. So I am excited.
Indeed. I was trying to look up something just real quick. And NIS America, I'm not as familiar with them. They're mainly known for Disgaea, so I might get as Disgaea related thing or something else.
Okay. I know Disgaea just came out. That Disgaea game did.
Yeah, so
not too long ago.
Might get a port. Who knows?
Who knows, Jeffrey? But a lot of cool indies.
It will be fun, and I imagine there'll be a couple pretty big surprises there.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned in the comments when I saw something mentioned about Danganronpa, I was like, that isn't right. They're not Danganronpa. Looking now, just to clarify.
Jeff's like, I would know.
That'd be hype. My hope would be for a full Danganronpa VR game.
Greg runs out there dressed as Monokuma.
No, just painted Monokuma, and he's
it's just his bare chest, but he's painted.
I mean, bare everything, Darby.
Oh, well.
And then make bear puns about it.
I'm in. Let's go. Do it, you coward.
Okay, moving on. Okay, let's get to a kind of more serious thing. This is a longer story. So strap in. This comes from Colin Campbell from Polygon. The Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, today, or this past week, agreed to investigate video game loot boxes, following an official request by Senator Maggie Hansen, a Democrat from New Hampshire. In a Congressional Oversight Committee hearing earlier today, FTC Chairman Joe Simmons affirmed Senator Hansen's request that loot boxes are to be investigated. The exchange took place in a Senate Commerce Subcommittee hearing that was mainly focused on data privacy issues, but which ran into other territories. Hansen said in a quote, "Loot boxes are now endemic in the video game industry and are present in everything from casual smartphone games to the newest high-budget releases." She also added that loot boxes will represent a $50 million industry by the year 2022.
Billion with a B,
sorry,
Jeff.
Sorry. I'm used to saying million.
Yeah.
Likely referring to a report earlier this year from Juniper Research. Hassan warned that children are particularly susceptible to loot boxes and that they represent a close link to gambling. She pointed to moves in other countries, including Japan, the Netherlands, and Belgium, to bring in legislation to control the use of video game loot boxes. Last year, Representatives Chris Lee and Sean Quinlan held a news conference in Hawaii that assailed loot boxes for preying on children. Earlier this year, Senator Hansen wrote to the ESRB to ask how games with loot boxes are rated. The ESRB later added an in-game purchases label to games that included loot boxes. Quote, "It's time for the FTC to investigate these mechanisms to ensure that children are being adequately protected," said Hansen, "and to educate parents about potential addiction and other negative impacts of these games." She asked Simmons if the FTC will investigate further and report back. Simmons offered a simple yes, and this is an update for Polygon's article. The ESA sent us the following statement: "Loot boxes are one way that players can enhance the experience that video games offer. Contrary to assertions, loot boxes are not gambling. They have no real-world value. Players always receive something that enhances their experience, and they are entirely optional to purchase. They can enhance the experience for those who choose to use them, but have no impact on those who do not."
Yes. So obviously this is something we've talked about many times before now. I mean, it being at the FTC is a pretty big...
That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, pretty big advancement with it. And it's like, there's no easier of a conversation now than it has been the last 5 months we've talked about it. And we're really no more qualified than we were the last 5 months. But we can talk from our standpoint. And I'm still in a very similar way where it's like, I mean, the ESA's thing, the gambling, not gambling thing or whatever, I mean, a lot of that can be just a load of crap at times. I mean, like, I think these can be very bad in certain uses, but also at the same time, I'm not completely jazzed about having government regulations to, like, for every little thing. Like, I could just see ways that can go bad. In some ways, I think the label kind of means nothing because no one really pays attention to it. But also, I also think that everyone's kind of responsible for their own actions, and that not everyone should be limited and regulated by whales who will pay a bunch of money. So basically, I don't know. Like that's kind of where I
Yeah, well, that's the
am.
way I think it's a thing most people can probably agree with, though most people won't. I think right now they're just investigating it. I don't see any harm in that whatsoever.
I don't either. It's just, again, these are also like a lot of the same people who just blatantly say, "Oh, video games make people kill people."
Yeah.
And with no real evidence, and any studies they do are a lot of times not very well done, or just not, like, I don't know. These are like people making decisions on an area that they don't know much about, and that's just the thing that worries me is that I don't know. It's just like when it comes to government regulation with a lot of these type of things, especially with video games, it's not that big of a deal, but a lot of times you end up having people who are talking about things they don't know about, and it worries me because they have legitimate power.
Yeah.
But I would do want to, like, I want to see, like, in the long run, like a year from now, I want to, or like 6 months from now, I want to hear like results and like what's gone on in these other countries who have taken more serious actions than America has against loot boxes, and how are things going there? Like, do developers feel hampered? Do players feel annoyed by the regulations, or has it been pretty just normal? Like, I'd like to see that, because we are later in this trend. This is America's, like, after. I don't remember the specific ones, but I know there's been multiple European countries who have either investigated or taken actions.
Belgium.
Yeah, I remember Belgium at least. Yeah. So it's hard.
Yep, indeed. Okay,
and I know that's a half-ass answer, and I understand, but also this is just not. I think me and you can both agree this is just not our area of expertise.
Yeah. That's why I'm probably not talking as much, bringing my opinions as I should. I do see the gambling like correlations though, just because it is random things. Yeah. I get it. That's why I don't see the harm in researching just to see the exact things.
Yeah, but then there's also just the thing of, like, gambling's illegal, like, for children and stuff, but that doesn't stop you from doing it yourself and going to Vegas and doing stuff yourself. That's just, like, for people who do things responsibly.
Yeah, but a lot of things, and they bring it up here, a lot of it has to do with children, the fact that they're the ones doing this. So, and
I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how this goes.
Yep.
Children gambling is bad. Okay, let's go on to some happy news. This comes from Adam Banghurst from IGN. Nintendo will be ending its Nintendo Creators Program, or NCP, next month, so it can make it easier for content creators to make and monetize videos that contain Nintendo game content. Happy day for us, right, Darby? All that money we make.
Yep.
Announced on Twitter, Nintendo will no longer require content creators to submit their videos to NCP, and the creators will be able to monetize any video as long as they follow Nintendo's guidelines, which they have a list on it, but IGN was nice enough to put this. To make a long story short, as long as those who are creating videos or live streaming Nintendo game content include creative input and commentary and are not just reposting gameplay trailers, tournaments, etc., they will be able to monetize their work. The NCP began in 2015 and had a controversial run with such issues as Nintendo not being able to keep up with the demand to join the program, and a policy that was implemented to restrict live streaming on YouTube.
I think this is a very big milestone, a very good step for Nintendo, because this program from the very start was just not with the current time. It was very just kind of an antiquated, bad system that was never going to work.
Yep, I'm sure Game Explain's happy. Though they do a lot of the trailer stuff, but they probably didn't get money off that anyway.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting. Obviously, we don't know the, like, details of a lot of these things, but and we reference Kind of Funny and all these guys so much, but Tim Geddes on Kind of Funny Games Daily was talking about how in the later years of the service, a lot of, like, they actually weren't affected by it because of the MCN with Rooster Teeth, and they were actually able to kind of, like, get around those things, and apparently Game Explains the same way. So, like, towards the end of it, people were able to, like, skirt around it, but the smaller creators still were getting
boned, and there's some people that would not, like, stream/review Nintendo games because of this, which is fair because it's their livelihood. But now with this, you assume they'll be able to actually talk about Nintendo games again.
And it's something that, like, Nintendo is just, like, such a big name to still be that backwards on this and to not understand, like, you're not actually getting hardened by this, and you're going to benefit. I'm wondering where this change came from. Part of it makes me think the new president, I think, is part of it, and Smash Bros. Smash Bros is probably the biggest part of it.
Yeah, because a lot of people are doing Smash Bros. Related stuff, but also some people are like, and I think this was too quick of a change for this to really happen, but some people are like, is this because of the Smash Bros. Leaks? And because of this, under these guidelines, the leaks that are happening now, for people who don't know, pretty much everything's on YouTube. Yeah, pretty much those would still be taken down and go against these guidelines. I mean,
that makes sense. I mean, yeah. But
so our stuff will be fine if we were ever to monetize.
Right. I think you have to have a certain. I forgot what the view count was, but I think we're getting somewhat close to it, so we can get our pennies.
Yeah, our penny a year.
A penny a year.
Yeah. So that's just a good thing all around. It is. It just helps the creators we all enjoy. Okay, moving on. Well, speaking of Smash Bros., this comes from Gabe Gurin from IGN. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will receive a patch on launch day in order to fix issues with its game replay system. Finally. In an interview with Famitsu via comic book, game director Masahiro Sakurai said that the patch would be necessary for anyone purchasing the physical version of the game, while those downloading the digital version, like us, would have it included with their initial installation automatically. According to Sakurai, the patch prevents replays from going off track and noted that you can save your replays as videos and keep them on your system indefinitely if you have enough storage space. So this explains the reason we were having with the replays.
Yeah, so are they confirming that this is not going to happen at all?
We might have to do an extra thing to save it as a video.
Okay.
We'll have to see how that works.
But they're confirming that we're not going to just lose our replays every time we come on to the system?
Yes, as long as they're made into videos. Okay. So people who don't get it, this is the reason it was happening.
Say what was happening.
Exactly. What was happening is every single time there was an patch gameplay updates, the replays we saved would be deleted.
Yeah, they were it said
or not necessarily deleted,
incompatible.
Incompatible and deleted once we tried to bring them up.
Right.
And the reason for that is it wasn't necessarily showing a recording when we did the replays. It was going through the motions of our match. It saved the actual inputs and not the actual gameplay.
Weird.
So the reason it couldn't do it is because if someone's moves changed and speed and stuff changed, it could not keep up and things would be messed up.
That's awful. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the reason those things happen, which makes sense as far as why it couldn't happen. I don't know if that's how. I don't know. The whole thing's weird, but
that's a bad system. But if it's as long as it's good now.
Oh, and another reason I brought this patch up is because people are in the internet are crazy and use crazy rumors. No, people does not mean there's a secret Smash Bros. Character in the game day one. People were like, is Nintendo going to sneak in a final character?
We patched in Goku.
Yeah, or that they were going to shadow drop a DLC character or something. Like, no.
Yeah.
And crazy stuff like that, or it was just a big patch and it wasn't mean Nintendo screwed up on the game, but had to fix it. No, they just do this one little thing and made some other little things. Day one patches are normal now. Doesn't mean the game's
Every
broken.
game has a day one
We're
patch.
going to get to a broken game
Smash
later.
Bros. Fans will read into anything.
Plus, people are playing it now and it's fine.
Yeah,
without the patches. I mean, they're playing it illegally, but...
You bad boys.
Okay, well, we didn't do a regular podcast last week, so normally I bring in some news from the week that we didn't do. There wasn't really much, but I did bring one thing. It's not big news, but I'm here, so we're talking about it.
It's big news, Jeff. I'll tell you.
This comes from Nick Santangelo from IGN. At long last, everyone, Square Enix has finished development on Kingdom Hearts 3. Praise Nomura, the publisher announced on Twitter. In a quote from Nomura, I'm proud to unveil an extended version of the trailer that's been playing in North America cinemas, and guess what? We wrapped up development on Kingdom Hearts 3. If you hadn't had the chance yet, that would be a good time to prep by playing 1.5 plus 2.5 and 2.8. See you next month. The see you next month probably is referring to the fact we're getting 2 trailers in December.
So, will you fully allow yourself to truly believe, Jeff?
I believe.
It's really happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
If they delay it now... God help them.
I would laugh so hard. It would just be hilarious.
Well, luckily, I have enough confidence in Square to know if you're going to say development's done, it better for sure be done at this point.
I think it's happening.
No, it's happening. Let's get hyped. Day one.
You know what else this means, Jeff?
What?
they can start talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Dude, they can start working on it.
They start working on it. But yep. All right, we're excited to announce that we're going to begin production on Final Fantasy VII
Yeah,
Remake.
just kind of keep with Kingdom Hearts for a minute. I read a little interview type things with some people from Disney today. Some of them talked about their stuff for Kingdom Hearts. The person from Pixar in particular is like, yeah, I knew nothing about Kingdom Hearts or whatever, but they were talking about how fun it was to work on it and stuff. And from the horse's mouth, the Toy Story is canon for Toy Story.
Hey!
Sora, Donald, and Goofy are canon in Toy Story.
I don't know if I like that.
Screw it.
Whatever. What does canon mean anymore half the time? It's whatever.
They said it was a good time, and naturally they said Frozen. No, Screamer's like, no, we gotta have Frozen.
Does it surprise you at all that people at Disney don't know about Kingdom Hearts? It does not surprise me a bit.
I mean, it was just one person from Pixar that said that.
It wouldn't surprise me if like half of the executives that work on Disney or that are involved with Disney movies just don't even know that Kingdom Hearts exists. It would not surprise me.
But it was a nice little thing to read, and I just like kind of saying, yeah, Square Enix working with Disney a lot to make this stuff right, which is just good for the quality of the game, probably. Okay, let's move on, Dari, to a section we have once a month, and then sometimes forget about in some months. PlayStation Plus versus Xbox Games with Gold versus Twitch Prime Games. And for the first time since we've been doing this, I now have access to all three.
Hey! Boom!
So, let's get further, Darren. Mm-hmm. The PlayStation Plus games for December 2018. Soma for PS4. Onrush for PS4, which is apparently, I think, a really good game. Steriden for PS3, Steins Gate for PS3, Iconoclast PlayStation Vita crossed by PS4, and Papers, Please for PlayStation Vita.
Papers, Please is great.
Unfortunately for Vita.
Yeah, Vita. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Xbox games with Gold. Cube. Might be Cube 2 for Xbox One. I might forget the 2 there. I don't know. Dragon Age 2 for 360, but cross backwards compatibility. Never Alone on the Xbox One, and Mercenaries Playground of Destruction 360 but backwards compatibility with X1. And Mercenaries stands out because it is the first original Xbox game on Xbox Games with Gold.
Oh, cool. And it is in fact Cube 2. Okay. It is Cube 2.
Nice. And the Twitch Prime games, we got the SNK bundle, which it's normally have 4 games, but they're cheating with the SNK bundle, which includes Polestar, Metal Slug 2, Samurai Showdown 2, Fatal Fury Special, and Baseball Stars 2.
Look at all those games.
Yep. Also, the other games are Hacknet Complete Edition, Poi, and Smoke and Sacrifice.
Won't lie, I don't know much about a lot of these games, so don't know if I'm the most qualified to declare a winner.
I think I've heard good things about the games I recognize. Some of the things are supposed to be pretty good. I heard good, at least Daniel Bloodworth from Easy Allies loves Onrush.
Yes, I've heard good things about it. And
I think it's supposed to be pretty good too.
Jacob Hamill, I think, likes Soma a lot.
That sounds right.
I believe.
Play Dragon Age 2 is really good.
Jacob, do you like Soma? Jacob's like in his car right now being like, yes, I've told you that like 5 times. I've talked about
on
Soma
the podcast last
so many times.
And looks like there's some classes in the SNK bundle, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But overall, seems to be a good month overall. Nothing like big, crazy, shocking, but it's cool little things.
Yeah. No winner? Or are you going to declare? I'm abstaining.
I still abstain, but if I feel like most people may agree PlayStation Plus might be the bigger deal, just because I feel like they're bigger names. Okay. Sales time, Darby.
And it was a pretty good few days for old Nintendo, I believe.
Yeah, there's probably some other sales things I missed, but this is all I could really find. We didn't do NPDs for the month of October, but by the time this come out, they're 2 weeks old, so we're just gonna forget about that. Okay. Just a big important thing. If you didn't hear, Call of Duty they beat Red Dead Redemption 2.
Did beat Red Dead.
That is the most important thing.
Yes.
And there's some other cool little tidbits.
And Mario Party did really well.
Yeah, there's some other things, but it's old. But about Nintendo, this is about Thanksgiving weekend / Black Friday. This comes from Gabe Gurin from IGN. Nintendo has high expectations for the Switch this holiday season, predicting sales totals that some viewed as overly ambitious. The company wants the system to hit 20 million units sold this fiscal year, and it helped get closer to that number for a huge Thanksgiving weekend. Over the 5-day period from Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday this year, the Nintendo Switch set a record for best-selling Nintendo console in history over that period, and it had its best week ever in the United States. The Switch didn't have the best week over any Nintendo system ever.
Right.
Yeah, just clarifying.
Right.
See a quote. In fact, according to Adobe Analytics, Nintendo Switch was among the most purchased items online on Thanksgiving Day and the overall top-selling video game product online for the Black Friday Cyber Monday time period, Nintendo sent a press release. In the United States thus far, the Switch has sold more than 8 million units, and its exclusive games continue to sell well. The combined sales of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee topped 1.5 million units in the U.S. in less than 2 weeks. And Super Mario Party has also topped 1 million units.
Yeah,
Again, those numbers are for U.S. only.
Yeah. So, I was one of those that thought that the 20 million was a little overly ambitious, and
I think it's still overly ambitious.
Yeah, they're still likely to not hit
but
it.
The thing is, I feel like if, let's say it's a little below, if they hit that number without what they were thinking, their goal, we'd be like, that's really good. But the fact that they don't hit it, people are like, oh no, Nintendo, what's wrong? Is the Switch dead? Like that Bloomberg article. Have you heard about that?
I saw something where it was like,
yeah, I didn't put it in here. It was a Bloomberg article saying the Switch may have to think about making the Switch $200 now.
oh god,
And stuff like that, and they won't hit the goal. They even said,
let's be clear, the Switch is not doing bad. They just had very high expectations.
Is the Switch high dying down? And stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is very clickbaity for something that's supposed to be more professional. And it was the weird thing. They're saying, yeah, we're projecting the Switch will get 35 million millions over. That's only 3 million below their goal, which is, they didn't hit their goal, but it's not bad.
That's close. And these things are hard to predict. And honestly, especially just, and
that article's before this big holiday weekend.
Yeah, and age well. But the biggest reason why that number seemed very ambitious was just that I think me and you and everyone else who was thinking about it rationally knew that this was not gonna be 2017 for Nintendo. They didn't have Zelda and Mario coming out at interspersed times through the year.
I'm gonna
and it wasn't the launch year of their console.
I'm gonna show the article one more time to remember something. They're saying Nintendo didn't have big holiday games for this year, so that's why they were getting the sale. They have Pokemon and freaking Smash.
I would argue that's where their only big games were. With all due respect, they had other awesome games. But
Mario Party and tennis sold.
I think the only games this year from Nintendo that are on the caliber sales wise or whatever to Zelda and just popularity wise to Zelda and Mario is Pokemon and Smash. Would you disagree with that?
Zelda, yeah.
Mario Party's close, but
yeah.
I think
undeniably, Pokemon and Smash are the two biggest releases that will be in this fiscal year, unless the new Super Mario Bros. Wii U, whatever, the port in January does crazy numbers because of the 2D Mario game.
Yeah, and because of that, Nintendo had a giant stretch of this year that was awesome, but it was not. It was not it was slower, and there was a lot of third parties like Octopath and things like that, and just ports like the Hollow Knight port and Messenger and all these other indie games and stuff. It was a different sort of year, but it was not going to be that big blockbuster year like that. And even with that year, it looks like they're still going to come decently close to making 20
also
million
something that makes the article look even potentially worse. Again, we'll have to see how it goes out. But I think Reggie even said recently or sometime that most of Nintendo's sales come at this period, which makes sense. If
you look at that on Twitter.com, Darby Hallman told you that.
That's why I read it. Sorry, Darby.
No, it's fine. He said that 60% of the revenue come from October, November, and December.
Which makes sense.
And then, he said that, and then it was immediately they just had the best. The Switch had the best Thanksgiving weekend of any console in U.S. history.
I'm going to add a little thing that makes it look a little worse. Yeah. Now, of course, people's it beat the Wii. We got to remember, when the Wii was at its high, they were hard to find. So it didn't sell to its top potential. I just want to throw that out there. Yeah. But still.
No, it's still, the console is doing great. And it's going, and it's still, there are still big releases on the horizon. Pokemon, I guarantee you, is still going to be selling like crazy 5 months from now. It's it's going to keep going and going and going. And I think it's very reactionary to say,
Yeah, and I know we're not the biggest business analysts, but I'm a business major, so I like to think I have some knowledge. Going ahead and cutting their Switch price by a third already after 2 years. I think that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's unrealistic.
If we go through Pokemon and Smash and just somehow the sales just stop and it doesn't get there, then maybe it's time to talk about it. But it's still tomorrow's December. It's still like we still Smash Bros is not even out yet. Like let's get.
I might be completely wrong on these stats. I know they've also in the end of this article posted stuff about Smash Bros. It's the most pre-ordered Smash game ever. I think they said it might also be the most pre-ordered Switch game.
I
might be wrong.
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and because they have a very big push for the pre-orders. I mean, me and you might not have digitally pre-ordered it if it wasn't for, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just like I want Piranha Plant immediately. Don't want to worry about it, and I just want it on my system, ready to go.
Yep, we want it on our system at all times. So,
Yeah.
Yep, there's all of that stuff. So let's get on to the main topic.
Well,
We're
let's
pretty
do
good on time. Better than
we are.
was looking.
I thought for a little bit we weren't gonna get there.
I kind of forgot all the rest of those stories we were able to go through fast.
Yeah.
Got good conversation out of them. Okay, so a big
our
story for the last 2 weeks. This game's only been out for like 2 weeks.
It feels like 5 weeks.
We're also talking about Fallout 76, which has continuously blown everyone's mind of
how mad can you make an audience in 2 weeks?
Yeah. Okay, so just so anyone who may not be following attention, I got a quick little timeline thing to go through.
Catch us up, Jeff.
Okay. Bethesda shows the game at E3, announced a little beforehand. People were confused / worried about various things. Right. I mean, the online and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a very big departure for Fallout. And for Bethesda Game Studio, and just Bethesda in general. Like, I can't really think of online, or at least online in this caliber game
Elder
that
Scrolls
they've
Online?
ever released. Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I guess that is true.
Yeah.
And that had problems at launch. But.
Leading to launch, Bethesda kept jokingly talking about there being bugs in the game. Being cute. It's like, you know us, we're going to have some bugs, We're going to break this game with this beta.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, even I was like, Bethesda, it can be cute once, but you're using your whole marketing push on the fact, it's going to be broken.
Yeah, well, we're going to get more into the
game launched with a roughly 50 gigabyte patch, and it's still a buggy / broken mess upon release. Fans were very upset, understandably. Many wanted refunds. Some got refunds. It was...
Yeah, I've heard some.
Game is a critical bomb. Probably also a commercial bomb. Don't have much data, so I don't want to say it definitively, but...
Price dropped very, very fast.
Apparently went back up. It was just a Black Friday thing. I double-checked. After a week, it was on $20 off.
Yeah,
still.
I would be surprised.
Yeah.
If it
Bethesda says quiet for a while. A couple of days ago, as of this recording, they finally spoke up and just really just gave out some patch plans.
Yeah.
So, Bethesda is also now under investigation by Washington, D.C.-based law firm Miglicio and Rathod for its refund policy of Fallout 76. The Fallout 76 Armor Edition also came with some problems as well. Not even that was safe. The special edition was advertised to come with a canvas West Tech duffel bag, but buyers quickly discovered that the bag was actually made of cheap nylon.
Yeah, like super, super cheap material, but the price was still $200, and they did not warn anyone
also,
of this change.
And I feel like this was more rising thing, but apparently for a lot of people, the helmet was trash. Like breaks immediately.
I haven't heard much about
that. But that's the response is by offering $5 of in-game currency to make up for it. And what's funny is there's a postman outfit that comes with a bag, like what you're supposed to get, that you can't even get with these $5.
Yeah, it costs more.
This currency, which is that's not the most relevant thing, but it's just funny.
We'll get to all of it, but this was almost the worst thing I've seen. I mean, shipping a horrible game and like a very buggy, broken game for $60 is pretty damn bad too. But the fact that these people were paying $200 for a collector's edition, you advertise this big duffel bag, and then you just change it without telling anyone. That's horrible. And then your reaction is to be like, we're really sorry. We understand we made a mistake. Here's $5 of in-game currency.
No.
It's like, what are you...
Originally, a customer service told someone who brought up, well, we're not going to do anything about it.
That would almost be better than $5 of in-game currency. It would be better if they were just silent than it would be for this. Like, how does that get to the point where you're like, yeah, we're going through with this plan before someone's like, hey, I don't think this is going to go over too well. It's unreal. All right, so basically, in general, I think our main topic, I guess, for lack of better, is just: are we worried about Bethesda in general? And like, I want to preface it, but like, I generally like Bethesda a lot. I enjoy a whole lot of their games. I kind of like their general vibe of a company. Like, even though I haven't been a huge fan of their last like 2 press conferences, I generally like the way they carry themselves. They're very kind of loose,
Maybe a little too loose with this marketing.
Yeah, but at times I kind of appreciate them. And I do honestly think Bethesda can and probably will eventually, like, I don't think everything's going to be a mess forever. But at the same time, I'm starting, Bethesda for me has just been like a big series of things recently. From Fallout 4 coming out, being like, it was a very big deal. I was very excited for it. It was good, but it was obviously made in a vacuum. It was a game that, like, was not looking at The Witcher, was not looking at any other game around. I mean, The Witcher came out right next to it, but, it was not looking at the other competition. Mm-hmm. It was just like, it was almost like they just were in a room for 8 years for 5 years making Fallout 4, and that was it. And because of that, I feel like Fallout 3, when it came out, it was revolutionary, outclassed everything in its genre. Skyrim was kind of in a similar way, but now we're kind of in a time, or Fallout 4 was in a time where, like, The Witcher completely outclassed it in every way. And, like, there are a lot of companies that know how to make these open world RPGs now, and I thought it was better than Fallout. Going forward from there, they've had a lot of their other studios make super great games since then, like Wolfenstein and Dishonored and Prey and Doom. All of these really, really good games. With the exception of Doom, I don't think a single one of them has sold well.
Yeah.
Like, sold anywhere near what they wanted or what they would expect.
Or perhaps what they deserved.
Yeah, what they deserved. Yeah. They were, like, really, really good. And then finally we have with Fallout 76, and I know that it was like they brought on BattleTech or whatever the studio was that, like, the studio was working on some other game, and they, like, acquired them, and they were doing most of the work on this. But the thing is, they came out at E3 with Fallout 76 as their central thing, and they put Bethesda Game Studios. They, like, attached that name onto it. So you're expecting this is the Fallout and Skyrim people, and then this happens. It's a bad series of things. It's like, Are they financially okay with the games not doing well? And just, like, I'm worried that Bethesda Game Studios is just kind of, like, lost in time. I'm worried that they're not progressing enough.
Well, you're already thinking about the financials. This probably, assuming this is selling as bad as, like, things are looking, probably because, like you said, all their games for the last couple of years haven't been meeting expectations. It looked like
Fallout 4 is the last. I mean, Doom did well. Doom and Fallout 4 are the only two I can think.
Yeah.
Which,
and then this comes out, and again, it looks like it just completely bombed in every way. Like, you can't imagine this thing will have legs.
No, and, like, I mean, maybe
once they fix it completely.
And people have been, like, pointing out the No Man's Sky type situation, but kind of the difference in No Man's Sky is the complaints there was this is just a lack of content, it's bare bones or whatever, but the game worked. Yeah. The game operated. Like, they promised things that they didn't deliver, and it was, like, just not worth the price. All those things are very true, but the foundation of the game, there was a game there. Yeah. Fallout 76, from the very foundation of it, there are people, like, I ended up seeing the thing that Alex was talking about where someone, they were moving their cursor, and as they moved their cursor, for some reason, the day-night cycle was tied to their cursor. So they were, like, changing the day and night by, like, aiming their gun.
That's okay.
It's like, this game is unreal. How broken it was.
Yeah.
This game was released at least a year too early, at least. Yeah. And this is a $60 game that the original trailer that I saw everyone sharing on Facebook was just, it looked like Fallout in a vault with Country Roads playing. You think this is a Fallout game. Like, this was not treated like a, like, spin-off side project experimental thing. It was treated like a full Fallout game. And it's rough. It's rough.
No, yeah. Everything about this is bad. Well, even if it wasn't broken, it sounds like even from a game, what's in the game standpoint, is not the best.
It's just not fun. Even when it works correctly.
I think it has like a 40 to a 50 or something, like 45, 50, like on Metacritic. Like, I'm surprised it's that high. I feel like that's an example of there's a baseline for, like, AAA games.
Yeah,
you get a little higher because I feel like this game is fundamentally broken, and then when it's not even the most fun. So just when it sounds like we haven't played the game, we're not playing the game.
Right? Yeah. Like, to be very clear, we have not played the game. I've looked at a lot of things and just seen other people, and that's why I kind of do want to get off of just dogging 76 for its problems and just kind of talk about Bethesda going forward. Does this concern you for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't see how it cannot.
Do you want to elaborate? Like, what specifically worries you? Because, I mean, I agree, but...
Just for a couple things, and this is coming from someone who has no attachment with Bethesda. The most I played a Bethesda game messing around with your thing, like 10 minutes in Skyrim VR. Right. So, but it just has to like how can you completely expect them to actually have a working game?
I mean, yeah, and the
going into it or not rushing the game or anything, or if they even deviate from the formula, how we know it'd be good. I don't know, just a lot of things. Like, it's hard to.
Yeah, and
I don't know how you feel confident.
That's where I even go back to Fallout 4. Like, even if they can ship a game that works, I'm just worried that, like, it's been a long time since they've put out a game that I felt like was really one of the master classes of its genre around everything. And I just kind of feel like we're in a very different industry than we were when Skyrim dropped. Mm-hmm. It's just like there are just so many other games that are doing these things better now and everything, and I just feel like they're not evolving. I haven't seen Bethesda game studios. Like, I'm way more excited about the other Bethesda studios at this point than, if they come out and be like, suddenly after this, it's like, yeah, Starfield just took a hit. It's being made by the studio in the same name that just did this.
Yeah, then there's also a thing like you were just mentioning about the financials. Is there a chance that because Fallout 76, again, you're assuming it's not doing very well, a lot of the other games have not done very well, do they try to pick up the Starfield pace and try to get that out sooner and not take their time with it?
Right, and that's another thing I kind of want to talk about. All of this kind of just feels like, honestly, this is just a full, just like, kind of their mentality. I feel like Bethesda is moving way too fast recently. Like we've said, the last 2 E3s, they didn't need to be there. And all these conferences have felt like we need to get announcements here, but we don't really have enough stuff, but we need to hurry up and just get things there. And like Fallout 76, I think, is a very big example of that, where they had an E3 press conference. It's like, okay, we have to have some big reveal at the end of it. Elder Scrolls and Starfield are both way too far out for us to actually have a meaty thing at this thing. Mm-hmm. What can we do? They had 76 that they're working on, and I feel like, all right, that has to be the big thing. Why, would anyone have been mad at Bethesda if they just didn't have a conference? They showed a few things at other people's conferences, like the Doom Eternal, whatever else. There was a few other, even the Elder Scrolls Mobile thing. Like, show all those different things. The Wolfenstein DLC,
Rage
2. Show all those at like Microsoft and Sony's press conferences or whatever, and don't talk about Fallout 76
or cut your press conference in half.
But then you still like. If Fallout 76 wasn't there at that Bethesda press conference, we'd be like, what was this? Yeah, no. Like, it was just the Rage.
No. I'm talking about Joe because that thing was too long.
That point, it would just be like Rage, a little bit of DLC for Wolfenstein, and Elder Scrolls JPEG. And
there was some more stuff. There was some Prey stuff and a couple other things in there.
Little things. Yeah. It wouldn't be enough for a conference. That conference hinged on Fallout 76. That was the cornerstone of it.
Again,
I just come to why did that even need to happen? You could have just said nothing about Fallout 76, gone forward with the things you had, and then when it was ready, then talk about it.
Especially after all this, especially just in hindsight with Fallout 76 went out, that just makes that press conference even worse.
Yes.
It makes me wonder, hey, if Bethesda does announce an E3 press conference, do we even bother doing what we normally do, especially if it's that late and that separate?
That is true. I mean, I feel like you have to at least this year because it'll be so interesting to see their response.
Yeah, to this. But I guess the also thing, do they even have it? Because, will it be people are curious about this because, if they're doing this, maybe they have Elder Scrolls or something. They announced Elder Scroll is 2 games away. Starfield's next gen, a little bit into next gen. What do they even have to get people excited about?
No, I mean, I'm at, I don't trust seeing Starfield. It's I won't even completely trust what I'm seeing. I think their game's, way too far out to even be shown there.
Again, what do they have? They got to show Doom Eternal. I mean, it could even be out by then as far as we know.
Yeah, it's just and I just don't understand because Bethesda's done so many things right and they have so many great games. Just make your great games. I don't understand why they have to be like a Ubisoft that has their own thing.
I think that's part of it. I feel like, in a way, with this whole thing, they just they just love the smell of their own farts too much at this point.
Kind of, yeah.
So they're like, we're one of the big boys. We gotta have a conference.
And I mean, like, would you think of Bethesda as any less of like a huge game company if they didn't have that press conference and stuff? I wouldn't. They were huge before then. I mean, like, yeah, that makes us talk about them, I guess, a little bit more every E3, but they also haven't had much to talk about after Fallout 4.
And here's the thing. We're, at least in our circles, kind of. I mean, I guess they had Elder Scrolls and Starfield people talk about, but it made us talk about them in a worse light. Because, like, all we've been talking about, like, the press conference weren't that good or too long or too just all this other stuff.
Or at least just like it should be a thing like they had a press conference when Fallout 4 was released. Well, if they didn't have a press conference for 2 or 3 years and then they're like, hey, we're back. It's like, oh crap, they must have something. Like that, like, to me now going into E3, that Bethesda press conference, this has been 2 straight years of this. I'm going to go into it expecting not much. Wouldn't it be a whole heck of a lot cooler if it was like once every 4 years, but you knew it's like, oh, it's time. Time.
Unless there's some crazy stuff we don't know about, but the way Bethesda's been the last couple of years, I really don't think there's really going to be much of anything that's going to be different. I don't think you have a conference until at least Starfield is almost ready to go. I mean, even then, potentially, you don't even have it. Because if all you have is Starfield and a couple other things, just spread it out through the other conferences or something.
I mean, I think that first Bethesda press conference was good with Fallout, and they had a bunch of other things. It was their first time out, and it was a big deal.
I agree.
And I think Bethesda has enough game studios to do this every now and then, but like for a yearly thing like this, I just feel like it's this company that is just like running faster than they can. Like they're
just looking back on it. Yeah, they had like you said, they had a bunch of little things. They had the Elder Scrolls mobile game. They had Fallout 76 was really hands on. They went, full out with Rage 2 thing. That was fine.
Yeah, that was good.
Better parts of things. They just showed a teaser trailer of Doom Eternal. Would have been better. They just showed actual something from it.
Yeah,
they didn't really have much. Then they throw in, hey, 2 games that are next gen.
I mean, yeah, the conference just felt desperate. It felt like we have this yearly thing and we have to get things out to it. And like, I mean, I don't know. We don't know the financials behind them and everything, but like Fallout 76 just almost seemed like a part of like, oh, we need a big thing for 2018. Why did Bethesda need a big thing for 2018? It's fine. They're a smaller company than like the Ubisofts and these other ones. They act like they're not, but like they don't have that many studios. Just give it time. Like, let them rest. Maybe they need this. But also, at the same time, we just talked about how their financials might not be good. They might be desperate for a win. Yeah. And this is what...
Hopefully, Elder Scrolls Online's doing good for them.
Hopefully. And I don't think this is going to happen. I think Bethesda's big enough and they have enough, like, money from their big titles. And Skyrim sells like crazy anywhere they put it. Yeah. So I don't think anything like this would happen. But it wouldn't be... If things don't clear up, it would not be the biggest surprise to me if like we start hearing, oh, Bethesda's in like serious trouble with financials. And it could not be, but like they're one of those that I feel like could take us by surprise one day where it's like, wait, Bethesda?
I feel like we're more than likely to get a couple of their internal studios shut down before we get a full thing. Probably. But again, we don't know their financials, so we're just kind of speculating, but you can't imagine it's probably in the worst place than it's been in a while.
I would think it would have to be,
but at least within the next couple of months. Once again, assuming Fallout 76 is a commercial bomb as big as it's looking like that.
I'm not seeing. I mean, the concept, just the general concept of it was probably never going to be quite as big. Just this. I mean, even just the name Fallout 76 is not going to sell as much as Fallout 5.
But I generally agree with that unless it was really good, then it could be one of those things like just an online thing that ends up selling as much, if not more. But obviously, this is not the case.
All right. And, I mean, do you, I guess just one of the last questions, do you think there's a possibility that a year from now there is that article of like, oh, Fallout 76 is a great game now, like No Man's Skies had, and to a kind of lesser extent Destiny had their Forsaken, even though Destiny was never like bad, it was just the hardcore people like ran out of things to do.
This is the way I feel. Yeah, I mean that's always possible. Part of it is I feel like it's too broken for people to even really care, really trust it, and then it's going to be a thing of like the influencers and stuff we listen to. Like, who's going to care in a year when the game was this far broken? Yeah. And again, people weren't even jazzed on the gameplay. Who will even I'm sure there'll be people, but it feels like I don't know if a lot of people will go back because that's a year and there's just too much stuff.
I see it as like I could see that happening, and the people who play it are happy with it again, but I don't think sales will go back up because even for a lot of these, I don't even know how much more No Man's Sky sold, and like I know Destiny, like Activision had that whole thing where they're like, yeah, we're unhappy with how Destiny Forsaken is doing and everything. Yeah. So it's like even if like you're doing everything right, but it's kind of like when you come out, like that release is important. And getting that right is important when it's this bad, when the Metacritic score and everything is that bad.
No, yeah, actually, the more
and just a fundamental part of the game.
No. The more I'm thinking about, the more I'm like, I would bet on no, just because there are too many games coming out, even from a multiplayer standpoint. There's going to be more of them in a year from now. There're going to be another one or two like big multiplayer hits that people will be focused on. People will still be playing Fortnite. Yeah. People will still be playing games like that I don't think they're going to go back. And even, especially, let's say it is a year from now. Even if Fallout 76 turns out to be good, like who's going to hear about it? You'll just get an article on IGN that some people might see, some people might skim over. Yeah. And, just people won't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a similar thing to all these other games. They'll be like, oh, cool, I'm glad that happened, but I'm burned on it. I'm done. Like... Or like me, I'm not going to jump into it, even if it and especially with how many games are constantly coming out now.
I mean, I was never going to get this game anyway, but...
And, I mean, do you think if there is a Bethesda conference, do they address this? Do they come out and be like, we messed up? And even if they do, I don't really know how...
They could. I could also just see them doing kind of like EA did with Battlefront 2 and just talk about, look at all these great things we're adding and doing and stuff, not necessarily saying... we messed up or whatever, just kind of smug about it, acting smug that we're fixing it.
This makes me sad, Jeff. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't want to come across as just a complete hater. I like a lot of Bethesda games, and I want this company to be doing well, but this is rough. They're not handling anything well, and I'm sure everything is just on fire at Bethesda right now. I'm sure it's just not a good place, and things like the $5, like, Adam thing... I'm sure that's just a very rushed decision because they're having to deal with so many other things. They're just like, I don't know, do this. But at the same time, your company has to be, for your signature game that you're charging $60 for and you're hinging everything on, you need to be more prepared than that. Yeah. And for things like paying $200 and then giving someone a nylon bag, it's bad. It's the whole thing's bad.
Honestly, I think they should not have a conference unless they just have a lot of stuff that would blow people's mind, which But since the fact they announced Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 for years away, I can't imagine they'll have anything that
I
makes
think
it
it'll
worth
be
it.
Better for Bethesda's image if they just stay silent for a while and then come out with a kick-ass Starfield that makes us look like idiots. They're like, oh, look, they're like on top of their game now, and like, look at this game is revolutionary or something. I would say buckle down. Kind of like, I mean, this is a much bigger scale than that, obviously, much bigger team, much bigger company. Bethesda is, I mean, but kind of like Hello Games did with No Man's Sky. They just shut up, and they just went heads down, made their game better, like redeemed themselves, whatever, and then came back out. I think on a broader scale, Bethesda should do that, like not make a big deal at E3, not make these big things or whatever, and then just whenever Starfield or whatever the next thing is ready, come out and make it great and show it by the game, not you, like not your like whole vibe, just like the game is amazing and you can't deny it, and it's just
it'll be interesting once we get to around March, April, whatever it is, when we start hearing about E3 announcements and press conferences. Everyone's gonna be like, where's Bethesda, like, or wondering like when Bethesda's gonna say something.
And I think they should just weather that storm. Like if Bethesda doesn't have a press conference, they'll be the like, oh, they're like shamed out of it with Fallout 76 or whatever. I would like take the bad headlines and just come out with something great in a few years. Like learn from everything.
Or just be, I mean, or they don't have a thing. It's like, yeah, we're not gonna have a conference, but we will be there or whatever.
Yeah. You can show, which I mean, I think is the smarter thing. That's what they should have done the last 2 years.
Just show. I mean, again, I don't think they
should have done.
I don't think they're gonna have much. So just show whatever you're gonna have to show at Microsoft conference.
Yeah. Or a small Nintendo Direct style thing. Yeah. Something like you don't need this big show.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I think that was a good discussion, Jeff.
Yeah.
It legitimately makes me really sad, though. Like, I hope that they can recover from this, and I think they will with time in some ways, but...
Yep.
Because, I mean, I think this is a lesson they're going to learn. They're going to have to learn. It's pretty obvious, the flaws. And I hope Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield, whenever it comes out, feels like a moment like Skyrim and Fallout was. I'm just not 100% convinced that Bethesda Game Studios still has that in them in the modern video game industry.
Yep. We're probably going to have Cyberpunk before we get to the Starfield, so.
Which, again,
we'll have that to compare it to it.
And, like, I don't want to, like, completely be biased towards that or whatever, but, like, I have no reason to believe that CD Projekt Red, I mean, like, we're still in this world of, like, giant open world RPGs like this that they just proved that they could change the game with. I have no reason to believe they won't do that again. Whereas Bethesda Game Studios, it's been a long time, and the industry has changed, like, 4 times over since they've had a game like that.
Fallout Battle Royale.
Well, I think it's time to end it, Jeffrey.
Okay.
That was a good episode. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our Red Dead Redemption 2 Spoilercast. Make sure to tune in with us at the Game Awards on Thursday, December 6th,
Yep.
At 8:30 Eastern Time, or a little bit before 8:30 Eastern
We
Time.
should have Will.
Should have Mr. William Outlaw with us. And also tune in on Saturday, December 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Or a little before.
Yeah, a couple minutes before.
To see our reactions to the Kind of Funny Games Showcase.
Yes.
All right. I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.